All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode Together Achieving Greatness. I'm Trevor Gutting, owner, coach here at Tag Performance and Nutrition. And today, I want to jump in and we're going to talk about training. Dive into training and kind of variety in training and why I am a big fan, a big proponent of variety. And you think of variety, a lot of times I get it with nutrition with people is they complain or, oh, I can't eat healthy because I got to eat chicken and rice and broccoli every day. That bro bodybuilder type thing. Personally, I eat that a lot. But in that term, variety, it can help. It can help spice things up. It can help keep you consistent. It can help make things not so boring. Whereas if I use that example of the chicken and the rice, if you're going to eat that's fine. I eat that a lot. I eat a lot of the same things over and over, but I tend to mix it up a little bit. Maybe I'll add a little bit of different spice, some red pepper, some salsa, something else, some little spice, or switch up the vegetable, change it up, give it a little bit of flavoring, mix up the chicken with beef, mix up the rice with potatoes, something like that. Add a little bit of variety, but still getting my nutrients, the whole real nutrient-dense foods, but I'm not getting sick of it, not getting bored with the food, it's not getting bland or stale or boring. And I see this as a win because it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna spice things up. Literally, it can spice things up with food. It's going to keep you engaged, keep you interested, keep you more consistent, and you're going to still enjoy it. And I think that can be done. That's why I like a big reason with training as well, why I like variety, because it does all those things. Yes, there's a time and a place for consistency doing the, whether it's lifting, sprinting, jumping, whatever part of training. There's a time and place for the doing the same thing over and over and over, kind of, especially with new beginners. I remember starting out or getting, even back when I was started, we didn't really have, I don't know, our high school program wasn't much of a program. It was just do some random stuff. It wasn't really an overall well thought out program. There was no teaching or coaching or anything like that. It was, here's the thing on the board, go do it. But yeah, once I got into it more, once college and kind of really starting digging into it, getting into training, it was doing that. It was kind of like a 5x5 type of thing where you're doing squat, bench, deadlift, those main movements over and over and over again. And that can be great, like I said, for a beginner, for someone who just needs that rigidity and routine. And I'm big on routine. I love routine. But again, I like variety as well, to change it up a little bit, to do a little bit different, especially when it comes to training. And that's what's kept me staying so consistent. I use it with myself for my training, being an athlete for life, the whole model there. If you think of sports, you think of athletes, look at all the different movements there are. In each individual sport. Football, you got cutting, sprinting, jumping, throwing, falling, crawling, pushing, pulling, all these different movements. In baseball, you got swinging, throwing, sprinting, jogging, jumping, stretching, reaching, all these different things. Same with basketball, same with volleyball, wrestling, whatever it is. There's a variety of different movements. And that's why I think your training needs to have, that's another reason why it should be, you should include a lot of variety in your training. Whether you're just playing one sport or multiple, or you're just an everyday person, an everyday former athlete who washed up, never was, never has been, like myself. So, because look in life, there's a lot of different movements in life. You step up a stair, you step down a stair, you reach to grab something, you bend over to pick something up, you carry the kid in this arm, you carry him in that arm, you put something overhead, between your legs, you go sideways, you go forward, backwards, bend, bend your knees, extend your hips. All these different movements that you think the body does, uh, and there is that variety. And like I said, variety is a big part of my training, a big part of my clients' training. Whereas if I know a lot of people get so bored with things like, and then they get stale. Things get stale. They get sick of doing things over and over and over again, the same thing. And yes, like I say, there's a time and place for that when you're learning, when you're just getting those movements and dialing in those movements. But again, I'm not training power lifters. I'm training athletes, and I'm training people who want to be athletic again, everyday people who just want to move better, feel better, look better. So we don't need to we're not trying to be the best barbell squatter or bench presser or deadlifter there is. We're not powerlifters, so we're not just mastering those movements. And if you really think about it, every movement you do, whether that's throwing a baseball, shooting a basketball, squatting, benching, every time you do that movement, yes, you're trying to repeat that movement and do it the same way, but really you're not going to do it the same way. It's not going to be exactly the same. Yeah, it's going to be similar, but sometimes when you're throwing, maybe your elbow's there and the next throw is a little bit down there and then it's up here and then over there, or maybe it's just following a different path. The body never moves the same exact way. Again, it's slight little variations, slight little differences in each movement we do. So again, variety is there, even if you're not necessarily trying it or putting in there on purpose. So there always is going to be the variety in your movement, in the way we move, because again, we're all different. You probably don't move like me. I don't move like you, whether that's from injury, from limitations, mobility issues, our anthropometry, so how we're built, our bone structure, things like that. If you're tall, if you're short like me, if you're wide, if you're stocky, whatever it may be, we all move different. We all have different ways of doing things. And ultimately, you want to find the best way to move for you and move like a human. Most of us don't move like humans. We move like robots or a refrigerator where you have to turn. I'm sitting in a chair, but you have to basically turn the whole chair to move your whole body, whereas you should be able to move like that and that. And my back and spine don't move well. That's my issue. My shoulders, from that repeated throwing and swinging of a baseball over the years and years, the way I used to train, where I used to just compress my spine with endless amounts of back squats and deadlifts and things like that, rather than expanding and getting more sprinting and mobility and bending the spine and all these different things that I've recently incorporated into that philosophy since I started TAG, of being an athlete for life, training like an athlete rather than just training like a powerlifter or a bodybuilder who can't move and they can just lift weights and look pretty. And that's why I train like an athlete, being an athlete for life. We do include variety because, as I've said before, we're not trying to be the best benchers or squatters. Yes, those things can be great and they are beneficial to building strength in, whether it's squat, building strength in your legs, building muscle in your legs, or benching, building your chest, building your arms, that power there. They're great movements, but we don't have to be restricted to just those. And there's different ways. So I guess I'll go into kind of, again, the whys of why variety. I mentioned in the beginning with the nutrition, but variety keeps people engaged. It gives them something new to look forward to, or something to shoot for, rather than just getting boring and stale. Spices things up, like I used with that example with the food. So that's one big reason why variety is good for training. Okay, I'm just drawing a blank here. Sorry, great content here. But just going through my notes. I don't have anything. I don't like to read off a script because then it sounds kind of corny and robotic. Again, variety. But I think variety is also a good way to challenge people. Challenges me, challenge my clients because, let's say we doing a different variation of a squat this week, and it's going in. It's not knowing. Maybe it's that not knowing. I have never done this variation before. How am I'm going to be able to challenge myself and see how much I'm able to do, or what amount of weight, or if it's a sprint or whatever it is, how I'm going to do that, how it's going to affect me. It forces you to use different muscles, forces you to use your mind, your creativity, whether that type of thing could be a sprint where you're not used to, you're just sprinting in a straight line all the time. Well, that's not going to happen a lot in sports and life. You got to, maybe you're sprinting on a curve, or you throw an obstacle in the way they got to get over, or a roll, or something that throws you off where it's not perfect. That's variety. That's challenging, and that's a good thing because we want to challenge your mind, your body, because challenge leads to growth, leads to change. I think variety in training it's that new stimulus, like with what I was mentioning before. You're not knowing what you're doing. Maybe it's a new squat. You never exert your squat. That's an example I always use a lot with my clients. And it becomes a variation they love a lot because maybe it bugs their elbows for a little bit, but once they get used to it, it's like, oh, my knees, it doesn't bother my knees, it doesn't bother my back. And there's plenty of other variations, but going in and not doing it before, it's like, that's kind of a new stimulus, a new challenge, a new opportunity, a new obstacle to go over and help push you forward. So that's another thing. It's that new stimulus. It's that not knowing what you can do, and that challenge that opens you up to. And I think variety helps because it doesn't beat you up as much. I mentioned before, I used to just a lot of the powerlifting stuff, compressing the spine, beating the self up and not doing any like mobility work or anything like that. Whereas you don't always have to use a barbell for every single lift. The barbell bench, the barbell back squat, the deadlift. Those are great lifts. There's nothing wrong with them, but you don't need to do them all the time, especially if they're causing issues, because the bar, it's that fixed position, that fixed implement of the barbell where your hands are here or whatever, on whatever it is, or that back squat, and you're just compressing the spine. Change it up once in a while. It gives yourself a new variation. Go from back squat to a front squat, or a exertion squat, or dumbbell goblet squat, or a belt squat, whatever it is. Just doing the same thing over and over and over again, especially if it's like a barbell, just compressing the spine. You get a stiff spine, your back can start to hurt. Again, it's not just from it's not because of that necessarily. It's like when I strained my pec a few weeks ago. It's not just because I was benching. It's because all the things I wasn't doing, or it was probably a lot of overuse again from baseball and stuff like that. So it's doing a lot of the same things over and over again, not having variety, different movements, different implements, different tools that you're using in those movement patterns and different movement patterns and things like that. So I find that variety helps keep you fresh, doesn't beat you up as much, and still allows you to make progress. And if it doesn't beat you up as much, that usually means you're feeling better. And that's a big thing. And keeps you engaged, so you're focused. And if you're doing a few things for doing this variation for a few weeks, change it up. Oh, a new variation comes. You're looking forward to that. You're looking forward to that next variation of a sprint or a jump or a squat, whatever it is. It helps keep you engaged in seeing your numbers, if you're a numbers-oriented person, or seeing your movement get better, or just your body feeling better, or you notice how you're looking in the mirror and that type of thing. So that's another thing why I like variety and different variations, just to change it up, keep you engaged, and ultimately I think and more engagement helps you perform better, helps bring that intensity, that intent each training session, and knowing that it doesn't always have to be, you're not always doing max intent, full balls to the wall things. It could be a lower intensity day where your intent is to take it easier and just move and feel the body move and things like that. So I think it leads to better performance personally and with the majority of the clients that I have worked with. Again, because we're not trying to be perfect and great at these three movements. We're trying to be good movers and feel better and look better and perform better, and adding variety helps do that. And another big benefit or reason why I like it so much is it makes you more athletic. And again, that is my goal. I want to be athletic. Again, I'm not a great athlete. I never was a great athlete. I'll never be an elite athlete probably because I'm 35 years old. I've been banged up, but I want to be athletic. And to me, that means being able to do everything in life that I want to do without a ton of aches and pains. Yeah, there's going to be pains and injuries along the way because I like to do cool stuff. Jumping off stuff, jumping over stuff, lifting heavy, lifting fast, sprinting. I like to do all those things. And playing baseball still, you get hurt. I had a bunch of injuries this year, and that's part of it. But these things aren't holding me back from doing all the things I love. I do these things because I can, I want to, and I enjoy it. And most people can't do half the stuff they want. They can't play with the kids because they have bad knees or bad backs or bad shoulders. They can't go up the stairs because they'll get out of breath and tired because they're out of shape and unconditioned and can't move properly. They don't move like humans. That's not what I want to be. The athlete for life means you're able to do all that stuff. Doesn't mean you're going to do it pain-free forever, but you're not going to have tons of aches and pains. Yeah, there'll be some pain because without pain, there is no growth. There is no change, whether that's physical, mental, emotional, whatever. But pain-free performance, that doesn't exist. We can get rid of a lot of those aches and pains, the bad backs and stuff. A lot of it's just because you don't move, or it's because you were like me and all you did was the powerlifting, barbell stuff all the time over and over again. And that's where, again, variety comes in, mix things up, feeling better, moving better, and being more athletic. It's different things. It's hopping, it's skipping, it's throwing, it's jumping, rolling, crawling, hanging, climbing, all these different movements. So if you look at athletes, they're not doing just one movement all the time. They're doing a lot of things. They're reacting to different things. They're challenging themselves. They're adapting to new stimuluses, and that's variety right there. And that's why we use variety in our training. So those are kind of the reasons why I use it personally, and I use it with a lot of my clients as well. I just have seen so much better results. And yeah, with a lot of kids, we'll start and do a lot of the same things to get them good. But even then, we'll mix it up with like sprinting and jumping and throwing and stuff. And which leads kind of into the next point topic or part I want to cover with variety is how do we implement variety and change and things like that. Sound like someone's coming in the door. I don't know, maybe it's just the wind. But how do we use variety? There's plenty of different ways, and it's in your training. And it's not just, when I say variety, I don't mean just throwing a bunch of random exercises together or throwing stuff at a wall and hoping it works. That's what CrossFit's for. That's what your group classes are for. You're just doing random stuff every time. No, we have a plan. We have an idea, a goal. Again, goals change, things move, people change, adapt at different rates and speeds. But we have variety in there for purposes. And yeah, sometimes with like sprints and stuff like that, we'll just do random things where we'll have reactivity and jumps and throws or crawl and different variations like that. But it all has a purpose. Everything we do has a purpose. And sometimes that purpose is just to have fun. and play a game or something like that. But again, we use variety ways we can use variety. It's not changing things changing exercise. That could be one, different variations, and it's not doing that every single day. We're not having different exercises every single day. Where we have a structure, I don't know, an outline, a template, if you want to call it that, for whether it's a full body day or upper body day or lower body day, a sprint day, whatever it is, a recovery day. But we have fit things into it. So variety could mean changing exercises, different variations. So like I mentioned before, squats. You could have a barbell back squat. You could have a dumbbell goblet squat. You could have a Zercher squat. You could have a front squat, a belt squat, a jump squat. All these different variations, and that goes for each movement. You have your squats, your pushes, your pulls, your lunges, your carries, your hinges, your sprints, your jumps, your throws, walking, all these different movements. You could have different variations within each of those, and there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds probably you could think of, and you could even create, I don't know, there's not a lot of new exercise. You see people will say they make new exercise, but there's probably really not. I mean, you can come up with new variations, I guess, and new implements. But that's one way, is different variations of the movement patterns is a great way to add variety. Like, and as I say, you don't have to do it every workout. Maybe it's every couple weeks, every 3 weeks. Maybe you change the main lift, kind of like that West Side method with their main lift. They change that weekly. I've done that. I've found great success in that. Or every couple weeks. A lot of times with my clients, I'll do it every 3 to 4 weeks. We'll add some variety. Sometimes we'll change things up weekly. Again, like I said, it depends. It all really depends on different things, but there is a plan. There is a method to the madness. It's not just throwing stuff at a wall and hoping it works, like a lot of the CrossFit or group classes, that kind of stuff. But yeah, you can add different variations, different tools, different implements, a barbell, a dumbbell, a band, a machine, not just your body weight, all these different things, those different tools. You could do, another way to variety is different tempos. So you go slow lower, or a isometric hold at the bottom, or just a complete isometric hold and different angles of the position. You could do, so if you're doing a push-up, you could do the push-up hold at the top. You could do an iso hold halfway down, 3/4 of the way down, all the way down. You could get handles and do even a greater range of motion iso hold. So slower lowering, iso hold, pauses, those types of things. Slow on the way up. You could do, I've done like bodyweight lunges where you go 60 seconds down, 60 seconds back up. So 2 minutes total, but it's super slow. I got those from DAC Performance, just those super slow lowers. And even the isometric holds where you're just lowering, you're really lowering super slow, but you're really engaging and pulling yourself into a bottom of like a lunge or a squat or a pull-up, or yeah, you could do a pull-up or a push-up. Those types of things, just to change it up the tempos and go slower, go faster. Fast eccentrics, get some bands. You're dropping off a box, have the bands pull you down faster than gravity can pull you, or a squat. Bands pull you down, back up as fast as possible. Those types of things, be explosive. So you can use that. So within like sprinting and jumping, different variations. You're not just different starts for sprints. Maybe you're rolling, maybe you're hopping backwards and then sprinting, or jumping over something and sprinting, crawling into sprint. I have those in my phase right now where I'm crawling and then kind of that transition. Like if you think of an athlete, their football player gets knocked over, run and kind of crawl to catch your steps and roll back or get back on into sprinting. So transitioning back into those type of things. Gymnastics, cartwheels types of stuff into sprints. So the variation and variety is endless. I think it's important to have it. Another way is adding, with lifting, is adding accommodating resistance. So this is popularized again by West Side. And again, they use a lot of variety in their training just to keep people not so banged up and healthy and stuff like that. and it's adding either bands or chains to a lift on a bench press, a squat, a deadlift. Whereas like what I mentioned with the tempos, the bands will pull you down faster, and it's going to have resistance throughout the lift coming back up. Whereas chains, it's going to be heavier at the top of the lift and lighter at the bottom because there's going to be chains. If you think of it, the chains, I don't have a chain with me right now, but once you're going down, there's more links to the chain on the ground, so it's going to be lighter weight. But when you come back up, as those chains gradually get off the ground, it's going to be heavier. So those different types of things are other ways to add variety. So I said different tools, different methods. That's another way. Different methods of training. There's a bazillion different ways, even just for the ways you set up. So you could do the conjugate. You could do like even just like splits, body weight splits, or full body splits, upper body, lower body, upper lower splits. The bro splits, if you want to get into that, push pull legs, more of those bodybuilding. I don't deal much with those. I basically have 2 splits that I use. Most of my clients are full body, 3 days a week, some 2 days a week, and if they're more, we'll usually do upper lower, or maybe an upper lower full if it's a 4 day, something like that, or you could do 4 full. There's different splits. I don't usually go too much away from those 2, but again, you can change up the variety on all those other splits as well. That's another way you can add variety to your training. Even not even thinking of the training aspect, add variety in where you train. This just popped in my head because I train in my home gym. It's been a while since I've been to a gym. I just run my business out of my garage, my basement gym. I don't really want a big gym. Would I ever get a smaller place? Yeah, but I'd want something where it'd be more athletic, where you could have sprinting and stuff like that. Maybe batting cages or something like that. But I don't ever want like a huge gym. That just seems like so much hassle, so much trouble, so much overhead and all that crap to deal with. Run on my home works for me. If it doesn't work for people, that too bad. Screw them. I don't care. Then it's not for them. That's totally fine. I do it online as well. So if you have a gym or whatever you're a member of, you can train there, train online with me, and get all the best for half the price or whatever it is. So, but then yeah, like I said, train in different places. Go to the gym. Go outside. Go to a playground. Go to a track, sprint. Go to a gym and jump. Touch a basketball rim, stuff like that. Change your environment. Get training partners. Variety of different training partners. Go to a different gym. Those types of things. That can all be variety. The music you play. Change up the music. Maybe you're getting bored with the country. It's not getting the job done. Switch it up to pop. Switch it up to rap. Switch it up to hip hop. Have a good playlist of different variety of music. Whatever it is. There's different variety of things, and it doesn't have to be just strictly training. I know I mentioned I wanted to talk mainly about the training part today in variety, but I think variety is good in a lot of things as well. Training, I know we mentioned that's the main topic of this, but like I mentioned at the beginning, nutrition, it can help as well, because I think it's great for engagement, it's great for keeping you on track, it's great for pushing you forward, keeping you healthy. That's a lot of the reasons why variety is important. I know we covered the different methods, the different ways to add variety, but I think variety is just a big deal. And if you're getting bored with your training and doing the same crap over and over and over again, and you've hit a plateau or you're stuck and don't know what to do, spice things up, add a little variety, switch out some different movements, different lifts, add in some different movements, sprint and jump and throw and crawl and hop and skip and roll and hang and climb, all those good things that they're going to make your body feel a lot better than just if you're stuck doing just the traditional barbell lifts all the time. Yes, those are great. They're a great tool, but it's not all there is. And there's a lot more out there. There's a lot of variety you can add. You just got to be willing to challenge yourself, change, do something different. And I think it's going to help. I think it helps most people. But again, that's me. That's my opinion. And again, it really depends on your situation, like anything. But if you have any questions on variety or adding variety into your training, reach out, drop a comment below, or send me an email, trevor@tagpn.com. If you want some professional help adding variety into your training, again, train with me in person, hybrid, the in-person plus online, or just strictly online. You can head to tagpn.com to apply, or again, shoot me an email, trevor@tagpn.com, and we will talk to you again soon, guys. Have a great day, and keep going, keep working hard. Let's unleash greatness.